your reaction to it mirrors or repeats, things will happen and I will get a wash of fear. When that happens, I have learned to stop because I know that however I react is going to be wrong. It happened a lot with Cliff back when he relapsed. Certain words, certain tone of his voice, the tenor of his voice, the look on his face, and I would just get this wash of fear over me. And it can still happen today. And I have to remind myself that I'm not there. That's not a like I don't have to feel that way. Yeah. And it takes time to get, first of all, to that place where you can recognize that that's what's happening, that you're being triggered. And then to be able to stop and not react to that trigger, because we can't Teflon the world. We can't have it come apart every time something happens. And this is part of this process. That is how you get to that place. Have you ever done CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy? Talk to your therapist about it. I'm going to explain it to you in a nutshell. Okay. Cognitive behavioral therapy, there's steps to it. And you can actually look it up online. There are worksheets. When I was in therapy for probation, I had to do this. And anytime something would happen, my therapist would be like, "What did you CBT?" Cognitive behavioral therapy. When something happens that triggers you, you stop, you take a snapshot in your mind without telling yourself a story in your head about it, but just what actually happened. And then how your body responds to it, how your mind and emotions respond to it, and then what actions you take. Because there's a direct link. You get triggered, you have a thought, the thought turns into an action. So if you can, before the action, catch yourself, change your thought about the thing, that will change your action. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm in prison, right? And I'm walking down a hall and I see some girl that I don't know, have no connection to. And she'll glance at me and she's got a look on her face. She's mean mugging me. Now, in that moment, what happens? I'm walking down the hallway. I don't know this girl. I interpret her as mean mugging me, right? So I go, "Oh, well, fuck her. What? Who the fuck she thinks she is?" And I tell myself a story in my head about why she's mean mugging me. Yep. And then I react not to her look, but to the story I have told myself, right? Now, in CBT, you take a snapshot picture of that. If I were to show you, not me, not the person triggered, if I were to show another person a snapshot of that moment, what happened? What actually happened? Yeah. 2 people walking down a hallway, one has a look on her face. Isn't it possible that that look on her face had nothing to do with me? She's going through something. She just got a bad phone call. She's thinking about what she's going to have for lunch later. Might just be her face. Nothing to do with me. So for me to respond to her look in any way, so what that teaches you is to take that snapshot moment without the story in your head and respond accordingly, right? Too often we're very entitled, we're very self-absorbed just as human beings. This person did this to me. Or that person did that and you were nowhere in their thought process. It had nothing to do with you. It's not about you, which is very difficult for us as addicts to think that there's something that happened in the world that's not about me. Listen, when you get to that place where everything falls into the category and not my problem, not about me, not my problem, not my monkey, not my circus, there is such a freedom in that. I can't begin to tell you. Cognitive behavioral therapy is right in line with what we learn working the steps. You got to put your own ego aside. Look at the situation. That's what we're doing with the 4-step. You're going to say the person. You're going to say what happened. You're going to say how that affected you. And in that, you're going to go, okay, because of that, now when somebody mean mugs me, I got to fight or flight. And that's a lot of what life is. When we're in that addict mentality, we want our instant gratification. We stay in fight or flight. And more times than not, we'd rather fight than flight. Those are natural instincts that are in us because our caveman ancestors had to have that. They had to have fight or flight. If a saber-toothed tiger comes up, you're going to fight it or you're going to flight. You have to be able to assess physical danger. But the truth is, we're sitting at a Dunkin' Donuts on a Sunday morning. How much danger are we in? Like, could the random weirdo show up and decide he's going to thin out the neighborhood with an Uzi? Sure, that's possible, but it's not probable. We don't live in a war-torn nation. Nobody's bombing Dunkin' Donuts. It's a nice neighborhood. There are places in America where you can't leave your car unlocked. That's not this place. We still have this fight or flight when something happens, but neither one of those are necessary most of the time.